Thank you, Hillary Clinton. Thank you. Thank you, Unity. And thank you, New Hampshire, for hosting our little get-together here today. I want to start by saying a few words about the woman you just heard from. You know, for 16 months, Senator Clinton and I have shared the stage as rivals for the nomination. But today I could not be happier and more honored and more moved that we're sharing this stage as allies to bring about the fundamental changes that this country so desperately needs. As somebody who took the same historic journey as Senator Clinton, who watched her campaign and debate, I know firsthand how good she is, how tough she is, how passionate she is, how committed she is to the causes that brought all of us here today. When Hillary Clinton gets up in the morning, even in the face of the toughest odds, the most vicious attacks, she is doing so with the same motivation that took her and Bill Clinton to sign up for their first campaign in Texas all those years ago. The same passion that led her to work for the Children's Defense Fund and caused her to fight for health care as First Lady. What has made her one of the finest senators that New York has ever seen. What has made her a historic candidate for president, an unyielding desire to improve the lives of ordinary Americans, no matter how difficult that fight may be. I've admired her as a leader. I've learned from her as a candidate. She rocks. She rocks. That's the point I'm trying to make. I am proud to call her a friend, and I know how much we need both Bill and Hillary Clinton as a party and as a country in the months and years to come. They have done so much great work. I don't think it's been 40 years. Maybe for the last couple, But it's amazing how much they got done in 5 years' time. But we need them. We need them badly. Not just my campaign, but the American people need their service and their vision and their wisdom in the months and years to come, because that's how we're going to bring about unity in the Democratic Party, and that's how we're going to bring about unity in America, and that's how we're going to deliver the American dream in every corner of every state of this great nation that we love. Now, Hillary and I may have started with separate goals in this campaign, but we've made history together. Together, we inspired tens of millions of people to participate, some to cast ballots for the very first time, others who voted for the first time in a very long time. And together in this campaign in 2008, we shattered barriers that have stood firm since the founding of this nation. Barriers that our supporters perhaps at the beginning didn't believe could be shattered. Now, I don't pretend that one election can erase all the past biases and outdated attitudes that we're still wrestling to overcome. I know that there have been times over the last 16 months when those biases have emerged, and Senator Clinton has always brushed them off, and dealt with them with her usual grace and aplomb. But I also know that while this campaign has shown us how far we have to go, it's also proven the progress we have made. I know that because of our campaign, because of the campaign that Hillary Clinton waged, my daughters and all of your daughters will forever know that there is no barrier to who they are and what they can be in the United States of America. They can take for granted that women can do anything that the boys can do, and do it better, and do it in heels. I still don't know how she does it in heels. I don't know. It's fitting that we meet in a place called unity, because the truth is, that's the only way we can solve the challenges facing this country. Today we look back at the votes that took place here in the snows in January. 107 votes for Senator Clinton, 107 votes for me. But now we look at them as 214 votes for change here in America. Votes cast by young and old, by men and women, by rich and poor, by Democrats and independents, and even some Republicans who have said enough is enough. It is time to bring about change here in America. And that's why in this moment we have to come together, not just as Democrats, but also as Americans, united by our understanding that there's no problem we can't solve, no challenge we cannot meet as one nation, as one people. The decisions we make in this election and in the next few years on Iraq and climate change, on our economy and making sure that it's working for everybody and not just some, those choices will shape the next generation and possibly the next century. And on each and every issue in this campaign, the choice could not be clearer. It is a choice between moving forward and falling farther behind. It's a choice between more of the same policies that have failed us for 8 long years, or a new direction for the country we love. We can continue spending $10 to $12 billion a month in Iraq and leave our troops there for the next 20 or 50 or 100 years. We can follow a policy that doesn't change whether violence is up or violence is down, whether the Iraqi government takes responsibility or not, or we can decide that it's time to begin a responsible, gradual withdrawal from Iraq. It is time to rebuild our military. It is time to treat our veterans with the dignity and respect they deserve. It's time to refocus our attention on the war we have to win in Afghanistan. It is time to go after the al-Qaeda leadership where it actually exists. It is time to bring this war in Iraq to a close. And that's what we will be working with and working on when I am President of the United States. That's the choice in this election. We can continue to watch the cost of health care spiral out of control, push more families and businesses into bankruptcy, and allow the number of uninsured to rise. Or we can decide that it's time to guarantee coverage to every American who wants it. It's time to bring down the typical family premium by $2,500, and it's time to bring down the costs for the entire country by bringing our health care system into the 21st century through better technology and more emphasis on prevention. And nobody knows this better than Hillary Clinton, and that's the choice you have in this election. You can go with John McCain's plans to do nothing, or you can stand side by side with me and Hillary Clinton and finally, once and for all, provide the health care that every American needs in this nation. We can continue to depend on dictators for our energy and destroy our planet in the process. We can give billions of dollars in tax breaks to oil companies who are making record profits while we offer pennies to consumers on a $4.30 gallon of gas. Or we can decide that solving our energy crisis will be one of the great projects of this generation. We can decide that it's time to give Americans immediate relief with another round of tax rebate checks and eliminate the oil company giveaways and invest in clean, renewable energies like wind and solar and biofuels, investments that can create millions of jobs and clean up the planet and free ourselves from dependence on other nations. It's time to leave our children a planet that is greener and cleaner. That's what Hillary Clinton believes in, that's what I believe in, and that's the choice we have in this election. We can watch another generation of children languish in schools that don't work, graduate without the skills they need to compete in this new global economy, or we can make a commitment to every child, not just slogans, but a real commitment everywhere, from the day they're born to the day they graduate from college, that we will invest in early childhood education to close the achievement gap, that we will recruit an army of new teachers and give them more pay and give them more support, and make sure that we're giving scholarships to every young person in America who wants to go to college in exchange for community service. That's the choice that we have in this election. And when it comes to our struggling economy, we can allow the divide between Main Street and Wall Street to grow, or we can ensure that our prosperity is once again a tide that's lifting all boats. We can have a tax code that rewards wealth and hands out billions of dollars more to big corporations and multimillionaires, or we can provide a $1,000 tax cut to 95% of families in America, start rewarding work and not just wealth, and eliminate income taxes for seniors making $50,000 a year or less. That's an agenda for change that we can believe in. That's the choice that we can make in this election. We can keep giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas, or we can give tax breaks to companies that invest right here in New Hampshire. We can allow millions of Americans to work full-time but still not make enough to support their families. Or we can raise the minimum wage, index it to inflation, and ensure that in America, hard work pays off. We can perpetuate a system in which women are paid less for the same work as men, or you can join Senator Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama to start doing something to reverse some of these policies and make sure that equal pay for equal work is a reality all across America. That's a choice in this election. No matter where we've disagreed, these are the issues that have always united Senator Clinton and myself. They're the causes that unite both of us as Democrats, and I believe at this moment they are the causes that can unite us as Americans. Because the choice in this election is not between left or right. It's not between liberal or conservative. It's between the past and the future. And it's time for us to move towards that future together. I know it won't be easy. Senator Clinton knows it won't be easy. I know it won't be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. And I know that there are going to be times when we as Americans disagree. But I also know that I've seen people of differing views and opinions come together and find common cause throughout the 2 decades in my public life. And I've brought some of those people together myself. I've walked arm in arm as a community leader in Chicago on the South Side, watching the tensions between black and white and Hispanic ease as people begin to recognize that the only way to fix up broken neighborhoods is to start working together. Through 2 decades of service, I've worked with friends in the other party to provide more children with health insurance and more working families with tax breaks, to curb the spread of nuclear weapons and ensure that the American people know where their tax dollars are being spent, to reduce the influence of lobbyists in Washington who've all too often set the agenda. In our country, I found this cooperation does not happen because we agree on everything. But as Senator Clinton and I were talking about as we flew up to New Hampshire today, behind all the labels, behind all the false divisions and all the false categories that define us, beyond all the petty bickering and beyond all the point scoring in Washington and that you see sometimes dominating the cable news. Americans are a fundamentally decent and generous and hardworking people with an awful lot of common sense. That's been the great privilege of this campaign. You know, sometimes spending time in Washington, you get a little discouraged. But when you start traveling around the country, when you look at a scene like this, and you look out at the faces of America, you can't help but feel optimistic because there are a set of common hopes and common values and common dreams that each of us share. I don't care, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, young, old, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. There's this sense of what this country is fundamentally about, a fundamental goodness. And that if we tap into that, I am absolutely convinced that we can lift this country up to new and greater heights. This is one of those moments in our history when we have to tap the decency of the American people. This is our chance to turn the page on the policies of the last 7.5 years. This is our chance to bring a new energy policy to America and new ideas to America. This is our chance. This is our time to march forward in unity as one people to the future. And I promise you that if you are willing to join me and you are willing to join Hillary Clinton, if all of you over the next 4.5 months are willing not just to come to a rally but knock on some doors and make some phone calls and talk to your friends, if you are willing to organize and mobilize, then we are not just going to change this country, but we will change the world. Thank you, Senator Hillary Clinton. Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you, Unity. Let's get to work. Thank you.